What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to another episode of PRO-LIFIC. If you want to be a prolific writer, creator, artist, whatever it is, check out these creators, writers, and artists that I have with me. Phillip Russertt with us today. He is a writer of tragedy. He has an awesome, inspiring story that I'm glad I get to share with you guys. So thanks for being here, Phillip. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me on. Good. I rested from the holidays, fed, and I'm good to go.
Good deal, man. Yeah, I went straight from Thanksgiving right to San Diego Comic-Con special edition, and I'm like still recovering.
Oh, did you go? How was it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a lot smaller show than a typical San Diego show. Not elbow to elbow, bumping into people. Felt like a normal, ordinary show. So it was good. But
yeah, I tabled at New York Comic-Con for the first time in Artist Alley, and it's the same thing. Just had a weird vibe. Wasn't quite the same energy, but still just happy to be there,
Yeah. Good deal. All right. So real quick, let's hit the chat. We got Past Master Dan first. What's going on, man? Welcome. Nicholas Gear, Eric and Phil. Nicholas? Look at these two guys. What's up, Past Master? Awesome. Cool. Well, guys, as we get into it later on down the road, we will be talking about tragedy. If you have any questions for Phil, let us know. We'll take questions and we will get into it. But first off, Philip, I love your story. And real quick, guys. So Philip is a longtime collector. He's been collecting comics for a very long time. Like all of us, I'm sure he got into it when he was a kid. Very impactful in his life. And then eventually started as an art collector. And you've been doing that for about a decade, you said, Phil?
Somewhere around there, yeah. A decade or 12 years, something like that, yeah.
And you could tell by all the artwork behind him on the wall back there. He's got quite the collection.
That's not even a third. That's not even a quarter.
And that's actually how I met him. I met him at Phoenix Comic-Con. I don't even know when. I want to say like 5-7 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 2016, I think.
Yeah. So, but Philip is a great guy, guys.
From you.
What's that?
I bought a Nightcrawler from you. It's right here on the wall.
Nice.
You can't see it, but it's right to my left. It's to my left here. Yeah.
Philip is a big time Nightcrawler fan. So, but yeah, guys, Philip has a huge heart. You're gonna love him as much as I do. As you just hear from him, he's an awesome creator. He loves people and he loves comics. So we're gonna get into it. But Philip, tell us, man, your story is inspiring. You were not always a creator, but something happened in your life, and all of a sudden, overnight, you became a creator, and now you have 2 books under your wing for this series called Tragedy. Tell us about it, man.
Okay, so I just turned 49, so I've got a few years under my belt, and I've been collecting comics for over 40 years, like you said, and collecting art. I always felt like this emptiness in me, like I wasn't meeting a potential, something was missing, and it was to create. I was a musician, but as a drummer, you don't get to really create as much. So I got deathly sick in January with COVID. I mean, it was very serious. I didn't know if I was going to be seeing my daughters ever again when I was sent off to the hospital. I was on 4 liters of oxygen continuously, and I was bedridden for 6 weeks. I had lost a ton of weight, which, as you can see, I healthily got back. But
you look good.
My legs were literally. I had so much muscle atrophy that they look like a 90-year-old man's legs. They were horrible. I still haven't even recovered my muscles, my strength, and so I'm laying in bed, and I had gotten a vision of this character in my head. Hi, Amanda. Exactly as you see here on the page, thanks to Ricardo, is what I saw in my head. And I was like, that's interesting. What the heck is that about? So I said, you know what? I was always intimidated by writing. It's going to sound stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. Do I have the patience for the pacing of writing the story? But I was like, you know what? I'm laying here in bed. Who knows how much time you have left ever in life, because I had blood clots in my lungs, multiple blood clots in both lungs. I had pneumonia, I had COVID. I was on 4 liters of oxygen, and just because I was home from the hospital didn't mean I was in the clear.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out at least achieving one dream I had in my life, and that's to create. So I said, to heck with it, and I just started writing, and I didn't look back. And I wrote 13 issues while in bed, and I'm at 17 issues written now. And I just wrote a short story just recently that actually seems to be going over well with the people that read it. So,
Wow, holy crap, man! So there you go, guys. If you've ever had the itch to create, the time is now. So you talked a little bit about your doubts. I mean, you never written before, right?
no.
So what? Okay, tell us about why comic books. What impact did comics have in your life?
I had a rough childhood. It was not easy. It was. I mean, there's always people that have it worse, but it was not your typical childhood. It was hard, and comics got me through. I mean, they were my moral compass, teaching me wrong from right, and that there are heroes in the world, and that as corny as it sounds, you really have to truly understand sacrifice to do the right thing, because that's the hard part. Doing the right thing is the hard thing. Doing the
Yeah,
wrong thing is very easy.
yeah,
It's easy to just throw away conscience and the rules and whatever. So I just felt, what, a comic book, it meant so much to me, what it did for me growing up. I wanted to write something that would resonate with younger people who are struggling with certain, feelings as well. The way comics helped me, I wanted to kind of do that. So and plus I love art. So you put the two together and it was a no-brainer to make it the comic format.
nice. Yeah, same here, man. Comics were a huge influence in my younger years, elementary school and all that. And it helped me to read. And you mentioned even too, it helped you get into reading, right?
Yes, I hated reading as a kid. I was intimidated by reading. I was intimidated by chapter books. I don't know why, I just was. And I picked up Uncanny X-Men 115 with Sauron on the front and Wolverine swiping at Colossus and Nightcrawler's jumping back. And I looked at these characters like, holy cow, these are amazing. And then I picked up 126 with it busting out of the wall. And for weeks, I was just looking at the art and looking at the art and loving the art. But then I thought, I don't even know who these characters are. So I started reading them, and I never looked back.
Nice, man.
Hey, Jeff.
Great. What's going on, Jeff? Amanda B. She said, I still need to read Tragedy #1. It's next on my list. I had trouble opening the digital file on my phone, but I need to get it on my laptop.
If you need me to resend it, I have no problems resending you the file. For those who back the second campaign, I'm just sending files 1 and 2, so you'll get file 1 again, if you need it. I'm happy to resend it. And thank you for your support, Amanda.
Yeah. So, all right. So you guys, if you've seen the Tragedy webpage at all, at any point, the first campaign, you notice there was a lot of different covers by some amazing artists. Man, you've got guys like Willis Portaccio, Larry Strawman, Ace Continuato. I sat next to him at a San Diego Comic-Con, got to know him. He's an awesome guy.
Oh, he's a great guy. Funny as hell, too.
Yeah. So, man, tell us how that all came about. Because, I mean, obviously you've been an art collector. Like, did that just happen through meeting these guys? Like, how'd that happen?
Same way, I guess, I met you. I just started collecting art and buying art. And, like you said, I like to talk to people. And I would sit and talk with everyone. And I got to know some of these guys pretty well. And I was supporting them. And they appreciated that. And I was not just buying art from them, but investing them in them as people. I wanted to know them. They're good people. I like them, Adelso, Corona, and everybody. Yeah. And so, plus I run conventions, and a lot of them have been guests at my conventions. So between that and art collecting, I developed relationships with a lot of quote unquote household big names in the industry. And I think we have a mutual respect. I don't try to take advantage of them. I don't try to buddy up to them. I don't name drop, because I don't want to be known for who I'm friends with. I want to be known for my achievements,
Yeah. For being a friendly guy like you are.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you get my Irish out. And then there's a video.
Amanda B said it worked on my laptop. So all good.
I hope you like it. Let me know.
All right. So we talked about your collecting, your art collecting, and then so you get all these. You have all these friends. You're collecting all this artwork over the years, and then finally you get all this naked HD stuff.
Yeah,
what's up with that?
To block this dumbass.
Okay. But yeah. So then, okay. So fast forward, you get COVID, you start writing. So okay, and then also you start Legendary. So tell us about that. That is another thing that you've done.
That I started in November, which was about 2 months before I had gotten COVID. And years ago, I was approached by an artist, and he was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about being a rep? Maybe be my rep." And I was like, "Me? Why? What? You know?" He's like, "Because of your motivation, the way you can market, the way you can get out there." He goes, "You should consider it." But I didn't feel ready at the time. So fast forward 2 years later, I had developed a lot more connections in the industry. I had a better understanding of how things work, and how page rates are and how the industry works. So I felt I was knowledgeable and prepared at this point to at least start on an entry level. So yeah, a bunch of artists signed up with me, and it's been pretty. They've been getting work, and it's been pretty successful so far. And um, I'm the kind of guy that if I don't like the way something is done, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to bash it. I'm just going to go do it the way I think it should be done. That's why I started running my own comic conventions, because you're the star, not be actors. No disrespect to them, but it's a comic con.
Right.
And that's why I became an art rep, because I think, and not saying about all art reps, just some, but I think that you can conduct business with integrity and invest in the artists as people, not just what money they can make you.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So Philip is a man of many hats, and then and then you start creating your own comic books. So let me just pull this up real quick. We will dive into it. But so did having those contacts with the artists, then that just help you out when it came to making your own book and didn't start in tragedy?
Yeah, one of the artists that I represent, Ricardo Silva. When I realized I wanted to do a book, I was like, you know what? I think his style would be perfect, because I love the '80s of comics writing, and I love the art. Like John Byrne's one of my favorite artists, '70s, '80s. But the '90s art obviously is just killer.
Yeah.
Why am I not wearing? Yeah, I've got my dunce hat. I forgot to put it on. Um, and so I felt Ricardo was right for the job. And then of course, yeah, I represent colorists and letterers, and I said, hey, let's go. But they get paid their regular rate. There's no. Actually, I pay my letterer more than he would get. No, than he was asking for. Um, I don't like to take advantage of people, and I like to support artists and creators so they get their full rate.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Well, as you guys can see, here is some of the stuff from book 2. Now, we're going to dive into the book, but your first campaign that you did on Indiegogo is still in demand. Do you want to, let's just run through that real quick. And since it's the first book, why don't you give everybody a rundown of what Tragedy is about, and maybe your main character, Grace O'Connor.
So Grace O'Connor is a little bit me, a little bit my wife. The part that is my wife is the part where I've never met a woman that knows how beautiful, how strong, how smart, how capable she is. No matter how great a woman is, they never seem to realize it themselves. And you can tell them till the day is over, and they still won't believe it. So she resonates in that sense. I have 2 little girls, so it's important to me. I wanted to create a character that can show and remind women that you're as powerful and strong and smart as you can be, and it's not just about your beauty. That's why I have nothing against it, but that's why I don't sexualize my character, because her strength is not in how pretty she is. It's in her heart, her mind, and her capability. Again, that's not to knock those books, just
Sure.
so she's an Irish assassin in Hell's Kitchen, and the reason why it's Hell's Kitchen is because that's where the Westies were. My father grew up during the time of the Westies. They're the Irish Mafia. So to keep true to history, I put it there. She has her life ripped away from her at a young age, and she's now an assassin for the Irish mob. And she wakes up every day hating the life that she's living, hating the day that's ahead of her. I mean, it's soul sucking. It's stealing it from her. And how many of us have felt that? You wake up, and whether it's the relationship you have or the job you're in, you just want to curl back up in a fetal position and put the covers over your head and say, I'm just not ready for this.
Right.
Well, that's her. But our strength is that we get up and we face that day anyway, right?
Yep.
So she doesn't win every fight. Like you look at He-Man, I always use him as the example, or you know, G.I. Joe, Cobra Commander, Skeletor, they even Megatron, they cackle, they run away, they got their butt handed to them. If you're not tested as a hero, how are you a hero? You have to have sacrificed, bled, lost. You have to know what loss is to appreciate victory.
Yeah.
And that's what this character is. You're going to go through this story with her, and you're going to experience her triumphs and her failures. You know, you're gonna go through all these issues with her. By the way, that scene is not. I purposely had to have steam put over there because it's about the scars on her back, not what's in front.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, she has those moments of confidence, those moments where she just wants to curl up in a fetal position. You know, I mean, think about it. Daredevil fights 100 ninjas. He goes home and has dinner with Foggy Nelson. I mean, I know it's a realm of unreality, but to ground her as much as I could, no, she gets into a fight, you know, and it's serious. It weighs on you. It weighs on your soul. It weighs on your head. She's a human being in a violent world.
I like how you have, you know, her talking to, this is her mom, right?
It's her adopted mother.
Okay, yeah. And like, you know, you just have this scene of like, you know, she's vulnerable. She just got in a fight or whatever, but it's like, you know, it's realistic, or, you know what I mean? It's, you hear it, you see her.
Yeah, she lost her father and she's adopted by a sociopath, basically, who's using her as a weapon. And she has father issues. She doesn't like him. She hates him. She knows she shouldn't need his love and respect, but she still needs it. You know what I mean? How many people have you met like that? You know, they're in relationships where they know that they shouldn't need this person's love and respect, but they are stuck in it anyway, still needing it, even though they're being abused.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's, all too often, that's how it is.
Yeah, and you're going to watch her overcome a lot of this stuff through time if you stick around. I mean, I have 17 issues done, and I have 30 in my head. She also has an amazing. I really am proud of the Rogues Gallery I've developed so far. It's really. I mean, I think like Batman and Spider-Man, their Rogues Galleries put them over the top, right? Well, I think my Rogues Gallery is pretty damn good.
Very cool, man. And you got the testimonials in here. I recognize a few of these names. Very cool. And that helps, guys. So if you're on the fence, if you want to take a read and just hear what other people have said about the series, give that a read.
Howard Mackey likes it.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Okay, so this is still in demand. Do you want to real quick give a rundown? So are all these covers still available if people want to go back and back book one? Okay.
They are still available, and if you want to just go to, if Indiegogo is your form of choice, these are still available. It's still on demand. You can go here. I will be going to Indiegogo in a couple of weeks for issue 2. If you are fine with Kickstarter, I do have a mix and match tier on Kickstarter. You can pick any cover from issue 1 with any cover of issue 2 if you want, and that's part of the tier at a discounted price. I like to support artists as much as possible. It's why we have so many covers. There's 45 covers between the 2 issues, and because so many people are like, man, there's so many beautiful covers, I don't know what to pick, what to do. I made a book of covers. So there's a 50-page book with 45 or 48-page, whatever it is, 45 covers. All the covers that have been published are in the book with a wraparound cover by Chris Graves on the outside. So you really get 46.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to milk anybody to buy the same issue 12 times. You know, I don't want to do that to you. But if you like the art, buy the art book.
All right. Here's what I got. I got the Tragedy foil cover because it was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Right, Mikado. That sold well. I'm out of those.
All right. And then the Wills Portaccio foil. Man. Like I said, guys, he's got a butt ton of covers by some awesome artists. So
yeah, book 2 has Tyler Kirkham and Al Garza with colors by Alex Sinclair. And we have Ryan Kincaid and Idan and Ricardo's back. We have a ton of people.
And here's the book of covers that you mentioned.
Yeah, that's Ian Churchill on the left and Jim O'Reilly on the right.
Yeah. Very cool, man. All right, so book 2. You want to give us just a little synopsis of what book 2 is about?
Sure. So I can't spoil the ending of book 1, but it really surprised a lot of people what I did. So book 2, I like to flesh out a lot of characters. Book 2 is going to flesh out some what you might have thought were back characters in this book. There's Joe and Tony, which are the Italian mob, and they're the bad guys you love, that you like. You know,
Yeah.
that's them. There are metahumans in this book. There's also Asian mysticism and Chinese culture and stuff. Um, and Tony is super strong and invulnerable, like a Luke Cage, not like a Hulk, you know.
Yeah.
And he encounters an adversary called the Breath of the Dragon. The Breath of the Dragon is the baddest of the bad as far as how good he fights, and he has an ability that I don't think has ever been used in a Western comic before, like this. And I'm so confident in that if the first person who finds a character with his ability prior to my comic, I will give a comic cover of their choice, even if it's foil, whatever they want. That's the Breath of the Dragon there.
Yep.
Yeah, I have that other page, the follow-up page I didn't put on the campaign because it's graphic, so I didn't think it would be a good idea, but it kind of shows you what he can do. So it kind of goes more into the Breath of the Dragon. You're going to learn about him. You're going to learn about Joe and Tony. And, comics got away from just some fun action spandex fights and stuff. So
Sure.
I do a lot of that too. I have like 8 pages, an 8-page fight,
Nice.
It's not just like 2-3 panels and everybody's friends.
Right. I wanted to mention that other page that you mentioned, him fighting. I'm going to have that on my website. Philip gave me some images, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a written interview on my website, ericnaltowskiart.com, tomorrow. So if you guys want to go check that out, you can see more images. You can kind of get a little bit more of an in-depth written interview with Philip, and check out that page because it is sweet, and he is frying one dude, sticking his sword in another guy's head. You'll want to check that out.
Yeah, he's a very layered character. And the other thing is, when I write villains, the best villains are the ones that think they're the hero. They feel justified in what they do. I mean, look at your book. They feel justified in why they're doing what they're doing, and those are the most complex, interesting villains you can find because they don't think they're wrong.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like the old twist your mustache and cackle and do this and I'm going to tie her up to the railroad tracks. It's like,
right. Yeah.
They feel justified in their cause.
Yep. And do you have, I'm looking for the Tyler Kirkham cover. Oh, that's a nice one. I have not seen that.
That's a one-off sketch cover that was sold.
Oh, nice.
Tyler should be after all this, keep going. That's the wraparound cover by Chris Graves.
That's
She's
cool.
the front, Breath of the Dragon is the back. I loved his use of gray tones so much. I offered both as an option for the cover. That's the book of covers.
Sweet. Yeah, man.
That's the studio cover. That's the catch-up tier for both regular issues covers.
Nice. And they're both by Ricardo Silva?
Yes, and Sigmund Torrey colored both. That's the Tyler Kirkham.
Very cool. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Steph Wilson seems to sell really well.
So do you have the same amount of covers on this campaign as you did the first?
No, the first one had 19. This one has 12. So we trimmed it a little bit.
All right.
Not counting virgin versions and all that.
Gotcha, yeah. And the foil covers and all that stuff?
Yeah, not counting all that. If you count that, I'd have like 60 covers for crying out loud.
Right.
Crazy.
Very cool, man. I'm impressed because some of these guys I know, others I don't, but the artwork is just beautiful. Like I don't know who this guy or gal is. Brad. Yeah. This is beautiful.
I have to say, I am very flattered because I'm a nobody. My book is a nobody book, and so many artists were impressed with her design, and they keep telling me they think the book is going to be big, and I'm like, your lips to God's ears, because so everybody wants to be a part of the book, and they're really stepping up and like kind of making me have to say, yes, it's got to be a cover because it looks so beautiful.
Yeah, man. I'm jealous, man. You got some beautiful
Ryan
stuff.
Kincaid. And I think Scott Hanna inked that one, by the way.
Very nice. Angel Manuel Lopez.
Yeah, he did that digital. I don't usually do digital, but he just did such a great job. I had to do it. You just reminded me. I didn't put Scott Hanna in the credits on that art book.
That's very cool. Lots of stuff, man. As you know, setting up a campaign and doing the page and like making all these graphics, it's a lot of work.
Well, so. I have to give a ton of credit to Russ Cassidy, because he is amazing. He has done all the trade dress for me. He set up the Kickstarter page.
Oh wow.
You know, working with him and hiring him was the best thing I ever did. He is so good at what he even helps Marat Michaels with his pages and campaigns.
Very cool. Yeah, that's key, because if anybody has done a campaign, you know there's a lot of work that goes into all this stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
Smart thinking.
I mean, it's just enough for me to edit everything and proof it and make sure it's all right, but never mind putting it together, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yep. I helped a fellow Indiegogoer out on their Mavericks campaign, and I, put all this stuff together for him. Yeah.
And great people.
Yes. So, yep. Because not everybody can do that. Not everybody has that Photoshop skill, and so sometimes you need those people. So
this is
cool.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I thought it was Batman the animated series anniversary back in September, October. I said, what the heck, let's do it.
Yeah. Man, Alec Garza.
With Alex Sinclair colors.
Very cool.
And Al stepped up, because Al always does like the cheesecake pinups, and he did this. And I was like, wow, Breath of the Dragon in the background. See the silhouette of the city and her adoptive parents and her body. It was, Al really stepped up big time. So
that's very cool. I really like that. Hey,
this is Alex Sarabia. I do cover contests before each campaign for each issue. And Alex won this one for obvious reasons. I mean, that's just incredible. And with the colors making it nighttime, you don't even see the detail he put in on that.
Yeah.
What happened? Oh, there you go. Okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to blow it up, but it's not working. Let me come over here.
Okay. And he just did a great job, and it looks fantastic. And Alex is a phenomenal talent, and he is actually now part of the Legendary Illustrations family.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
Very cool. All right. So we're done with the covers. All right, we made it. We made it.
I love original art, and these 4 are scans, comic size scans of the original art that I own from these artists.
Sweet.
I own all the original art associated with all the books, and it's not a money thing. It's not a greed thing. These pages will be my testimony to my daughters that if you work hard and you bust your butt and you're willing to bleed and sweat, you can make your dreams come true. They're not just writing on a wall. They're not a sticker or a saying by a Disney princess. They
right.
can be true.
Yeah. Well, that kind of speaks for itself, but if there's anybody out there that either wants to get into, creating a comic, maybe they're an artist, a writer, or just a creator, maybe they have an idea or a concept, what would you tell them? Because here you are, you said 49?
Yeah.
And you just dove in last year, right?
Yeah, like I told you, from literally no concept to published book in your hands was 4 months. So
there you go.
People think I'm crazy. I would say, do not be intimidated. Do not be afraid of quote unquote failure, because you're failing yourself if you allow that to happen. Just do it. There are no rules to writing or not writing. Just write the way you want to write. Have fun. Write for you. And if people like it, that's fantastic. But try not to force yourself to write for anybody else, or it won't come out right.
Yeah.
If you're an artist, just do it. And you're never going to get good at something unless you jump in and just keep doing it. And be thick-skinned. Be willing to take criticism. If you can't take it, you're not going to make it. Not to sound like Will Clyde Frazier with the rhymes there, but swish and addition. But seriously, you got to have a thick skin. You got to be willing to take the knocks, and you got to be willing to learn, and you've got to respect those that are already there. And if they're willing to share that knowledge, absorb as much as you can. But know the
Amen.
business too. I jumped into writing, but I understood the business first. Because at the end of the day, whether you love comics or not, once money is involved, it's a business. You have to be smart, and you have to take care of artists and treat them right with your pay and the creative team. But you also have to protect your IP. That means copyright it. That means don't share it out until it's copyrighted. As eager as you may be, you have to understand, the law. You have to understand what goes into the business.
Great stuff, man. And my wife says, Eric works his butt off. Thank you, sweetie.
Do.
But you know what? And I'm sure you could speak to this, but I have a great support system at home, and my wife helps me get to work because, we've got 4 kids. I don't know where I find the time, but she helps me make the time. But how is it in your household, and how does your wife help you get stuff done? Because, you've got 2 girls, right?
Yeah.
So it can't be easy, man. What happens in your house?
I work 3 jobs. My wife works 3 jobs, and we have 2 girls, 9 and 7. My wife's hours are just all over the place. She's a very strong woman. Again, doesn't really understand that to the level she should, but she's a nurturing, wonderful mother. She picks up a lot of slack in some areas. I pick up slack in others, but the fact is we're a team. There's no role, ego. We accept our roles and what we need to do, and we're happy with them because at the end of the day, it's about the kids and keeping the roof over the head. But at the same time, if we could pursue our dreams, let's do it.
Yeah, man.
It's hectic. I average 3 hours of sleep a night, pretty much. And
Wow.
I have for 5 years now. So I'm only 20. You look at me. No, I'm just kidding. Again, running conventions, writing the book, and when you do the book, and this, yes, I'm in book 2 right now, but I'm still trying to push book 1, and I'm working on book 3. So
yeah,
it's that constant struggle. You're doing conventions. I'm running conventions. I was doing my Q&A, which I had to stop because I just don't have time. And doing the art repping, getting them work. I just did a live art sale last Friday, and it was very successful.
Awesome, man.
For the artists. So
very cool. Well, let me see here. Nicholas Gear says, "Oh, hey, stop it! Being at a con all weekend is no excuse for not having Fan Art Friday." Hey, come on, man! I can't. I probably could have streamed from San Diego Comic. My phone was actually had a signal and was working pretty good, which doesn't normally happen. But I did a sketch cover and I did post that. Oh, actually, I recorded the sketch cover that I did, and so I post that on YouTube. I did a cool Spider-Man sketch cover at the con, or cool. At home Saturday night. So,
by the way, I just want to say I love Shadow SENTRY. That is a good throwback to when comics were fun to read and obviously beautiful to look at. I look forward to your next one, man.
Cool, man. Yeah. It's a process, and it is in the process, and it's I'm just trying to do my best work and trying to get it out on time. That's the main thing. So, but yeah, man, I'm jealous because you have you've got it done, and you're spitting them out. So.
This book is done. I'm just waiting on some pages to be colored by Chris Sotomayor. With letters being digital now, they're already done. We just overlay them back on the colors once the colors come in. I have them follow each other.
Okay.
So there's no delay. Ricardo's doing the inking as well, but I think I'm going to hire an inker to speed up the process at some point that I can afford to.
Yeah.
So, you're turning in every 5 pages. Once the edits are approved, the pages are approved, I'll have those 5 inked while he's working on penciling the next 5, and the letterer is going behind them, and the colorist is going behind them. And next thing you know, boom. This book is 90% done right now. It will be done by the time the money's collected by Kickstarter, and we can get it going. I fulfill very quickly, and that's my plan to do so again.
Yeah, man. So when do you plan to launch on Indiegogo? When will that hit?
I have to talk to Russ because he has to set up the page for me, but it's a lot easier now that you could just kind of transfer over. But I'm hoping to, within a week, no more than 2 weeks of the end of the Kickstarter campaign. Indiegogo is a really great platform, but I need to work on getting a following there.
Sure.
So I want to keep going. Someone said like the money was a lot lower. I don't care. I want to reach out to everybody. I don't care if it's one backer. If it's one backer that picks up my book Indiegogo and they really like the book, then I'm happy and it was worth it. So, hopefully those who are really dedicated to Indiegogo come out and give it a try.
All right, man. Well, once it goes live, I will be sharing it out, and my internet connection is being dumb, but hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, it looks frozen on my screen, but guys, I hope you enjoyed our time. I love hearing Philip's inspiring story, and
now you're freezing.
Ninaltowskiart.com, and can you still hear me?
You froze for a second there. You might want to throw out your links again.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, Ninaltowskiart.com. Philip, do you want to throw out a link or two? Where can people find you? And if they're a creative person and they're working on their book and they want to, if they need an artist, if they need a colorist, where can they go to get that help?
If you're looking to hire some amazing artists, letterer, colorists, you can go to www.belegendaryillustrations.com, or you could go to Phillip Russertt on Facebook and just DM me. I'm also on Instagram under Phil Russertt. And Legendary Illustrations is B Legendary Illustrations, I believe, on Instagram as well. We understand small indie publishers don't have a lot of money, so our rates are not crazy, but you do get great talent. And we work with you. If you have to do piecemeal, we do that, but we'll work with you and we'll make your book look pro.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I did drop the link in the description, so if you guys are looking for that, and then also where you can find Philip and the artists that worked on Tragedy, they are in the description. So check those out. Link for book 1 and book 2 are in the description. So we got you covered there. But Philip, man, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, man, thanks for making time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And I just want to say one last thing. Not only back Shadow SENTRY, Eric is an awesome dude, and he's got a great product, a great book.
I knew you were going to do this. I told you guys, this guy, he's got a huge heart. He's trying to help me. I'm trying to help him. Come on, man.
No, but honestly, he's a good guy. From the second I met him, he was a really cool dude. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got a good heart. He's a good family man first, which is important. But he's also putting out a quality book that is a throwback to when we loved reading comics, because I've lost that. And looking at Eric's book, it makes you feel that again. Like you're excited when it comes in the mail. So when you get a book that comes in the mail you're excited about, you got something special going on. So Eric, please keep going, man, and congrats. And
thank you, man.
Remember, indie community can only grow if it has a money flow. All right? If you're tired of Marvel and DC, you have to support indie campaigns to get the economy flowing. And then we hire better artists and we hire better writers and we get our books out sooner and we're investing. So whether it's mine or Eric's or somebody, please forego that $8 cup of Starbucks crappy coffee this week with the name spelled wrong and go buy a book. All right? Because you're employing artists. I can employ all these artists because you guys are supporting me, which I'm grateful for. So please do that. Support the indie community, support artists, support writers, support creators, and become one yourself.
Heck yeah. Do it. Listen to Philip here. Cool, man. I appreciate that. Yep. I am working on an additional book, Shadow SENTRY Origins, that's going to launch hopefully next year. And I've got a cover done and I'm getting the ball rolling. It's being written. And so I'm trying to get others, working on it for me. So have more than one book a year. That's my plan. So, all right. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us in the chat. If you guys don't have any questions, we will end the stream. But yeah, like, subscribe, check Philip out on Facebook. And if you need somebody to help with artwork, check out Be Legendary Studios. Be Legendary Studios, right?
Illustrations.
Illustrations. There you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Philip. And we will see you next time, guys. Thanks. And broadcast. There we go. All right. See you guys.